So, the other day I was chatting with my friend who's starting in France. If you're watching this, no. When you're watching this, you know who I'm talking about. Anyway, she was complaining how she barely speaks to native people because she's terrified of making mistakes. And you know, as a dedicated friend that I am, my instinctive reaction was, what? Oh my god, dude, something is wrong with the connection. I can't hear anything. Maybe another time, okay? I'm just kidding. Jeez. On a more serious note, making mistakes is kind of a big deal actually, especially when you want to impress people that need to be impressed. For example, your employer, your favorite celebrity, someone you have a crush on but never had a chance to approach. So I've thought about it pretty hard, and by pretty hard I mean when I brush my teeth, and I've come up with a few ideas. This is what I cannot stand about Korean dramas. It takes about a few dozens of episodes for the hero and the heroine to be holding hands, which is crazy. In reality, probably half an episode is enough for them to get pregnant. Always better, in most cases, to go straight to the point rather than wasting your time wandering around, beating around the bush, because that leads to two things. Number one, we're most likely to ramble when we're confused, and that gives whoever you're talking to the satisfaction of knowing that they can fluster you with just a few simple words. Number two, the more you babble, the more you diffuse yourself away from the core topic. The further away you are, the less you make sense. The more confused you get, and the more you ramble. It's basically a vicious cycle. You don't want to get into that. This is not to be mistaken with taking a long time to answer. Because, you know, when people say something to you, so what do you think about this movie? It's kind of expected that you have an instant reaction in return. Otherwise, it's kind of unnerving to see someone you're talking to all of a sudden frozen and zoned down. Some people might even think, oh my god, is she having a stroke? Which is kind of scary. I'm talking about the speed of speaking. When you can moderate your speaking speed, you gain more control over everything, really. Your pronunciation, your grammar. You can really avoid pesky little mistakes that are actually very commonly made. For example, S or no S, or you won't say things like, I don't mean no harm, which is acceptable in hip-hop English speaking, but not in more formal contexts. And you can also keep track on the subject you're addressing, which in referring back to the previous part about hitting the point is very important. Besides, when you have more control, you'll be more confident, and that's always a good thing, right? I know what you're thinking. Me, talking about keeping it simple. Yeah, right. I have to admit, even I am sometimes in awe of my own verbosity. You see what I just did? I totally could have said, I'm a very wordy person. But no, I used to do these sentence correcting exercises in which the sentences that are most obviously inaccurate are actually the longest. So it's better to keep things short and sweet in terms of structure. That doesn't mean that you cannot flaunt your English competence. Always find other ways to do that. You can incorporate some more advanced vocabulary, or you can add more verbs to give more ambience. For example, saying, I totally get it, and saying, I fully understand are identical in terms of structure, but they don't sound the same. Now, I know I've always encouraged you to stray from your comfort zone, but in situations where you need your English to be as flawless as possible, it's advised to stay within it. Use words and structures that you're familiar with. Don't use anything that you're not sure about the meaning or the pronunciation. And definitely be careful with slangs and idioms and catchphrases because those are tricky. Don't use them unless you're 100% positive how to. I think it's no point to show off your skillfulness only to be corrected afterward. Nothing wrong with saying I don't know technically. It's a fail in terms of personality. Unless you're asked about a fact. For example, what is the element next to iron in the periodic table? Then I just say I don't know right away because I don't speak chemistry. Period. But if people ask for your opinion, then why not give them yours? I understand that we feel self-conscious sometimes about our opinions, whether they sound silly, unrealistic, naive. But opinions aren't supposed to be subjective. They don't have to be right or wrong. You can say you think the sky is pink and it's fine as long as you're fine with it because it's your opinion. It's up to you. In conclusion, I think the key to mitigate the chance of you making mistakes is to gain more control. Control over the content of speaking, control over the manner of delivering the information, as well as your personality. Hope you find this video helpful. I'll see you next time. Are you a shy beginner? Are you a nervous speaker? Do you always feel reluctant to speak English? If you answer yes to one or all of these questions above, then this video is for you. Because today I want to suggest a few ways to help you feel the comfort in the discomfort, to find the ease in speaking English. So let's get started. First of all, if anybody tells you don't be scared or there's nothing to be scared about, do me a favor and give them the finger, because it's complete bullshit. Being scared is not a state of mind that you choose to be in. Sometimes you just can't help but feel that way, especially when you have too little experience but too many insecurities. What if I screw up this interview? What if my pronunciation sucks? What if they find me obnoxious? What if there's something on my teeth? The problem is, when in fear, our natural instinct is to flee. Hi. If you're nervous, allow yourself to be. Just don't dodge the conversation when it comes in your way. A few years ago, I participated into this English speaking competition. Shockingly enough, I actually made it to the final round. I had to speak in front of a few hundreds of people. I have been perpetually a nervous speaker, so the idea that I had to expose myself in front of such a large crowd made me physically ill. But there was obviously no escaping at that point since the show was already running. So the only thing that I could do, and I actually did, was to tell myself, fuck it, and come up on stage. In reminiscence, I think it turned out more than alright. But more importantly, it opened up my eyes about how liberating expressing yourself can be. Which leads me to the present, talking to myself in front of the camera. My point is that take a leap of faith and you'll be amazed by how good of a converser you can be when circumstances strike. Now that we've established that you say it is now time for you to, talk, this is where lots of whiners will be all like, but I have nothing to talk about. Now, I don't know about you, but I've constantly been fascinated by how eerily natural and easy gamers connect together through their games. It's like when you're playing your games, other gamers will instinctively sense your appearance and come have a chat with you about said games. It's amazing. So that gives me a thought. If you can find a field of interest which you and your counterpartner both are keen on, dive in there, and your conversation will just flow effortlessly. It could be anything really. It could be books, it could be movies, it could be sport, music. Don't they say music brings people together? Or it could be cooking, fashion, or it could be the most random thing on earth. Ugh, what a scam.
Tension hormone, like it.
Can her neck like get any lower?
I know, right? Her boobs are not even that big.
I'm Amy.
Hi, Amy.
Whatever it is, let your enthusiasm swallow your anxiety and carry you away. And before you notice, you'll be rambling for hours. Somebody had to stop you from talking. However, it's not always up to you. Sometimes you can find yourself literally lost in translation, which means you have no idea what people are talking about. To me, it would be any discussions about football or basketball or any kinds of ball really, no pun intended. In that case, what I would suggest is to fake it till you make it. Just smile and nod along. Oh yeah, totally. Sounds cheating, but hey, at least it's better than panicking and start rambling and making crazy eye contact. Because trust me, that's not a cute look at any days of the week. Another thing is that instead of trying to dissect every spoken syllable, I'd rather put my effort into catching the gist of the conversation so that when people ask me a question, at least I'm capable of giving a decent enough answer. And if you do that and it still doesn't work, you still find yourself a deer in headlines, then it's time to man up and repeat after me. I'm sorry, could you please repeat what you just said? Or excuse me, but could you please rephrase what you just said? I couldn't quite understand. Those are legitimate questions that you are entitled to ask even in the examination room. So those are the few things that you can do to counteract your speaking anxiety. Soon you'll realize that the biggest thing that hinders you from speaking English confidently actually has nothing to do with your English confidence whatsoever. If you have any ideas about what you'd like to see on my videos, leave them in the comment box down below. And I will see you next time.